Okay. All right. In the saga of the ghost and this picture frame, which randomly fell a couple months ago,
Mm-hmm.
it's falling again. And I was like, just like see it creeping down. I was like, okay, cool. Anyways, welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. I'm your host, Liz. I'm in a different room today. And I'm joined as always by my co-host, Marcus. By
We
a
got
different room, I mean the same room I'm always in.
we got your camera working this time. Turns out you just needed to update Google Chrome. I hate that that's all it took.
Straight up, we were sitting here like trying every fucking card in the book. You were just like, what if you updated Google Chrome?
So as you can all see, this is NXT 2.0. I updated the graphic to represent the show. Miriam says, "Oh my gosh, you guys are so bright." Yes, we are, just like the show.
I was gonna take off ad blocker and see if that worked.
Turns out you didn't need to. Morgan Smith said I take my comment from last week back. I assume it was a comment that was positive towards NXT 2.0. But we've got a lot to talk about regarding our opinions of NXT 2.0 because a lot of it has definitely shifted. A lot has become clear of our criticisms of it, but a lot has also become clear of the positives of NXT 2.0. One of which being Braun Breaker. The dude is fucking incredible.
In my opinion, I know considerably less about how I feel about this.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I should just like say what my problem is before we really dive deep into the episode. Because this will probably be the only point to bring it up. I feel like this show, they want to throw all this new talent at you at once. Like they really wanted to throw all these new guys just in one episode, and that be their introduction, a squash match or something like that. Like Dante Chen just getting a squash match. What's going on?
Can't tell if it's the neighbors or if it's thunder, and I'm like,
I did not hear anything. And you don't have neighbors that you would be able to hear on that wall.
well, because my door's open, I can hear what's happening on the wall.
I do hear some banging.
Yeah.
But
Psychopath.
they try and stuff all these new talent at once in the episode, and it results in like 1 minute squash matches, very quick promos to introduce somebody.
It sort of felt like if you took the first day of school and mixed it with the spin cycle of a washing machine. You're just kind of going around and around, and shit keeps hitting you in the face, and you're like, holy fuck, that was a new person. Holy fuck, this is a new person. And is this a new person, or is this just enhancement talent? I don't know.
It's like they tried to stuff the entire first day of school into 2 hours. And I wanted to compare this to NJPW, for example. We watched our first episode of NJPW the other day. And we didn't really know many people. I mean, we know Juice Robinson, we know Hikuleo. That was the episode we watched. Very, very easy to consume and understand who everyone is, what their gimmicks are, and all that, based off of our first watch. Now, you could consider this the first watch of NXT 2.0. It's the second episode, but it's a first for a lot of people, and this is like the first real step in. The last episode was like the prologue. This is like the real first step. And there are still some people that I don't know their names. So many people were thrown at you when they should be utilizing 205 Live. They have, for some people, utilized 205 Live to give people their first match, use it as like a dark elevation, and use that to introduce people to then bring into the main product, so that way you can spend time introducing them in 205 Live while some other people are finishing their introduction on the main show. Like, slow down. Really slow down. You don't need 7 matches in one episode. 7 squash matches.
Real quick, thoughts and prayers for Juice Robinson on NJPW. Yeah, it was. And I think even Beth got confused at one point. I was not the only one who pointed this out. I'm pretty sure she called Zion Quinn Dante Chen.
Was that his name now? Is Zion Quinn his name? I thought it was something else.
It used to be Daniel Vidot. It's Zion Quinn now. Yeah.
Who was Cal Bloom? I thought Daniel Vidot was Cal Bloom.
No. I mean, you're going past my NXT knowledge. Baby Edge.
Von Wagner. Okay. See, like, there's so many names that they give you at once when they need to slow it down, transition us. All the tools are there. You utilize 205 Live. Utilize the veterans that you already have to help transition us into this new period, which they've kind of been doing with Ciampa, but that's only for the main event scene. They've only been doing that for Braun Breaker when they need to be doing it for the rest of the talent. Instead of having Raquel continue to feud with Frankie Monet, when Frankie should be feuding with some of these new people.
Also, another thing is that, like, they were using any fucking opportunity they had to introduce new people. It was, like, the most aggro show, because, like, Frankie's, like, walking down the aisle, and all of a sudden, Lash Legend, who used to be Unreal Howard, comes out of nowhere and is like, well, X, Y, and Z, like, you should be worried about me, and it's like, you're not feuding. Marcia Perota came through and started, like, shit-talking at Zoe and Io. She is not in a tag team. It was just, like, all of these newbies come off as, like, very random, very aggressive.
Yeah.
It's, like, sidelining people. Like, what are you doing? And there should have been, like, for, like, Lash Legend, there should have been, like, a thing where it was, like,
coming soon.
Like, next week, you know, she said that she's got a talk show, so, like, it should have been, like, next week, Lash Legends talk show or whatever.
Instead of spewing it during a promo.
Yeah, like, to someone who doesn't know her, is not feuding with her, has no former, like, history of knowing this person. It's just very...
They might have Jesse Camilla feud with her.
It's possible. It very much... those parts especially felt like how I felt for this whole episode of just like, who the fuck are you?
And the big thing is, like, most of the segments weren't bad. They really weren't. I mean, there was one really bad one, which was Joe Gacy's. That was atrocious. His character.
Parts of Attraction I didn't think was good, but
I thought it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Mandy was great. I mean, she's a veteran, so she knows what to do. But yeah, Joe Gacy's new character is terrible. Just simply terrible. But, like, the rest wasn't bad. They just need to slow down, slow the pace.
Also, Joe Gacy 100% looks like a guy I work with. It's very weird to watch.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's...
But also, like next week. Next week is a perfect example of them needing to slow the fuck down. They have 3 title matches next week. Let one main event and slow down. Spread it out. Like, you're putting all of your eggs in one basket, and it's exactly what they do in the main roster when they have, say, Nikki Cross cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase for that moment. They put their eggs in one basket, but don't think about the rest of the episodes. Miriam, I think Joe Gacy's just supposed to be what Republicans think Democrats sound like just like an ally that's like, I don't know.
Gave me Retribution last year vibes, the sense that it was a mock-up of that Vince would take the shit out of. But also gave me very much like Serenity Now vibes, where it was like there were points like in the ring where like he kind of like got thrown off and he was like, went back to like beating the shit.
It feels like a Matt or a Mike Seidel character of like a yoga dude who tries to find peace and tranquility. Whatever, fine, works.
Oh God.
But like, if he's just supposed to be some caricature of the left, that's worse than the Retribution stuff at first, because that was just taking advantage of the current events.
I don't know about worse.
Well, that was just taking advantage of the current events. This is literally making a political stance in the ring. Like, and one that's probably not the favorite among your viewers. Maybe not even your talent. Oh, come on. I'm sure most NXT fans fall under that umbrella, because NXT is the younger product.
Also, real quick, I keep petting the cat, and she must have been licking herself or something.
Mm-hmm.
I keep coming back with my hand covered in wet. I don't care for it.
There's Morgan's miss. My problem with the squashes is when they send people who can wrestle and give them squashes with green people. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, with the Creed brothers, that was fine. The squash matches, if it's just like if it was on 205 Live, that would be great. Have the squash matches there. As I said, Kofi Mania was a political stance in the ring as well. It definitely there's a difference. I totally understand what you mean, but there's the political stance of putting somebody over for the sake of politics, but there's the political stance of criticizing or making fun of a what I assume to be a political party.
Yes, because here's the thing at the end of the day is that like, oh please. I think at the end of the day, it's one thing where it's like with Kofi Mania, like people who deserved what they got what they deserved.
Yeah, that's rewarding somebody.
Right. Which, like, yes, maybe it was an empty gesture.
Mm-hmm. Because they took it away with Brock very soon after.
Yeah. But, like, I guess, like, both are kind of, like, wrong at their core. One, at least, is, like, painted with a prettier picture. And one's just not.
I mean, yeah. I'm hoping that they, once Trips gets the reins back with the small day-to-day stuff, we'll see a difference with Joe Gacy. But that is a shit show. To sum up before we get into the news, because we've already gone like 20 minutes in, like they have the foundation to have a great show still. Regardless of all this new talent coming in, they have the foundation to make it a great show. They just need to slow the fuck down.
Like I said, it's like when, and like by that I mean, like I said to you when we were not doing the podcast, it's like when your friend meets somebody and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, this person is like everything to me. I'm in love with them. We're going to get married. We're going to have kids. And it's like, you've known each other for 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh, you pumped the brakes on that one. they've known these guys in theory for about 2 days. Let's slow it down a little bit because you don't know what's going to happen. It's just too much too soon. And you know what I think is happening?
What?
I think they're going to slough off a lot of talent soon.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're doing here, is that they're like, you can't slough off a bunch of talent and then have like 3 guys that people know. What they're trying to do is be like, hey, look at all these people. And then they're like, fuck you guys in the back, you know?
Yeah, I think we'll see who goes up in the draft, and then who doesn't goes up around the draft, if not in the draft, because some people might be called up in the draft. Like some good picks, like maybe Johnny Gargano.
I really don't think the NXT is part of it this year, because I think I heard reports that it was rumored and then it was said that they were not going to be part of it this year.
Well, if regardless of whether they're in the ceremony or not, I'm sure any call-ups they do will be around that time, if not the same week.
Fury, I know is. Fury's he's definite now.
Unfortunately, yeah, because he would fucking thrive in this new NXT. Like this is made for him. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with the roster around early October. I assume any that aren't called up will be getting the nail. But we'll see. All right, so do you want to go into the news?
Yes. Let me pull up the news first. Let's see. What's our favorite? What am I saying? Our first story tonight. First story for tonight is from NJPW. Tetsuya Naito is injured and has been pulled from G1 Climax.
NJPW has been so unlucky lately.
Yeah. Apparently it was an injury to his knee. He something with his meniscus, which is usually and MCL, which is usually a tear. That's usually how it goes, but so not great. They get Coda back, and that's like, and another one. Then on top of that, we've got some AEW news. A lot of WWE news today, actually. Apparently, there's a new location set for AEW Full Gear, and that is going to be in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It used to be St. Louis, Missouri, and now it is Minneapolis. Apparently, people at the Target Center, which is where the upcoming episode of there's an upcoming Dynamite episode happening there. People at the Target Center have been told that they are the host of Full Gear.
Okay.
And then let's see what's some WWE news here. One piece of news is that Austin Theory was backstage at Raw and is likely going to be called up very, 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 very soon.
Hopefully Vince saw his comedic chops on NXT and will continue that on the main roster. Hopefully he's not thrown into the same shtick he was last time he was on the main roster, where he was a muscle for Zelina Vega and then one of the disciples for Seth, because both of those fell very flat.
Yeah. Let's see. As a disciple, he was like very like normal, so I guess that wasn't great.
Yeah, he never really had any discernible quality.
I don't know. Trying to find. I had to like save a picture of one of the pieces of news. Tomasso Ciampa addressed fan criticisms of 2.0, NXT 2.0. Don't get it twisted. And he said that basically he said that fans should wait 3 to 6 months, and soon NXT will be in the discussion to be the A show.
I read that whole interview that he did, and a lot of it is just him now being the voice of NXT and being the face of NXT. He has to talk positively. I don't think he's gonna actually give his own viewpoints. Like, he's not gonna rail on NXT 2.0. Now that he won the title, but I wonder why he's saying, what was it, 3 to 6 months, 5 to 6 months?
Said 3 to 6 months.
Such a long span of time.
Be in the discussion.
Yeah.
Be the A show. Which I said, no offense, Tomasso, I don't really want to wait half a year for a show to get good.
Is it going to take that long for them to debut everyone?
Probably. Another piece of news. Speaking of WWE being the A show, or NXT being the A show, Vince McMahon is considering making NXT 2.0 an edgier product.
And we saw exactly what he means.
Before we say that, apparently they're aiming more towards the 18 to 34 demographic. And they want it to kind of tap on in-ring aggression, to harsher language, and to keep up with current affairs with promos and character verbiage, which...
Oh my god. I hope Triple H comes back and he's like... It's like that Community gif of, fuck, what's his name?
Donald Glover.
Yeah, Donald Glover walking in to the whole room on fire.
Yeah. Apparently, this was from Fightful, and Fightful also said, and forgive me, this is like the smallest ever. Another point that Fightful hadn't verified yet as they made this report was more lenience on female character gear.
I think we saw that with Mandy Rose and the very creepy camera shot that they did.
Creepy camera shot?
Oh, they did like a pan up that kind of like slowed down on the boobs. It was a Michael Bay shot.
Nice. Okay. I didn't even see that. I'm glad I didn't see that. Then final piece of news is the reintroduction of a rule for tag teams, I guess. This was reported as a new rule. Basically, it's a one save rule, which means you can only save your tag partner once, which I really don't mind that much.
It's something they clarified on Raw.
Well, yeah, so regardless, the point is that you can only save your partner once. Like, you can only break up the pin once, which fair enough. And it was called a new rule, and then Dax, FTR, said that's not a new rule, that they used it their entire career in WWE. And he said to watch all of our matches, me and Cash never had more than one breakup in a match. Rules in a tag team wrestling are a good thing. It's not a four-way, which...
Yeah. I mean, hopefully this just doesn't result in quicker tag team matches, with that being the excuse. But I mean, yeah, it's a good thing. Because it's always been something that's kind of bothered me.
Boogers!
Well, it's too late.
Don't have anything to say?
No.
Aww. So what are we gonna do about this? Alright.
You know, you're gonna have to change those yellow stickers.
I refuse.
You gotta change them to like white with splatters on them.
You wanna see some?
Oh my god.
Look at that.
Unbelievable.
Special guest host. He's here finally. He hates that.
Also, Booker T commended MJF as being the best promo guy in the whole damn world.
Best promo guy, does he mean promo guy that I'm most scared of getting hit by a fan in the middle of a promo? Because he's right.
Yeah. I guess that shows how good he is. All right, so let's get into NXT 2.0 today. So we started off with, we saw a lot of newcomers in the ring. We saw Joe Gacy for some reason wearing a button-up and pants. Tomasso Ciampa comes out. What?
Oh, never mind.
Okay. Tomasso Ciampa comes out. He gets in the ring with all the newcomers, and he says, 908 days, and on day 908, I reclaimed my spot at the top of the mountain that I never lost in the first place. It has been a long, long journey. It was worth every damn second. From this moment, to stand in this ring to say to each every one of you that once again, Tomasso Ciampa is your NXT champion. He looks at the belt and says, I missed you too. What a time this is. NXT 2.0. The energy is contagious. Fresh faces. These young men and women are ready to show the world how damn good they are. Guys like Carmelo Hayes, Odyssey Jones, Braun Breaker, the list goes on, and then there's me. Tomasso Ciampa is Mr. NXT. We can give ourselves a fresh coat of paint, but what hasn't changed is the passion. I look in the ring, and you bet your ass these guys are NXT. Then there's the fans. That's the heartbeat. You're the reason I get to stand in the ring and do what I do. I'm so happy to be holding this title and representing this brand. We are the A-Show. You gotta show the world and make sure they hear you. Together we are NXT 2.0. Cameron Grimes then comes out. He says, you see, this energy has gotten Cameron Grimes all fired up. What will help that fire go is that NXT championship. It's the rocket fuel I need to go to the moon. Let me turn down my gain real quick. And Joe Gacy says, excuse me, Mr. Grimes, as charitable as it would be of Ciampa to give you a title opportunity, LA Knight, here, LA Knight comes out, and he says, yeah, everyone should be chanting at me. You deserve it. I forget who said this. It's Andre Chase? Shit, who said this? He said, LA Knight, you lost twice in the same day. Oh, Odyssey Jones said this. Odyssey Jones.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Andre was not part of this.
Right, I didn't see a bright red outfit out there. But Odyssey says, LA Knight, you lost twice in the same day. What are you talking about? Shut up. Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland come out. And at this point, you see the vibe we're getting at. Vets versus newbies, with Ciampa on the newbies side. Pete says, here we are, to NXT 2.0. All these fresh faces. Let me give you some advice. Make a name for yourself. I look around, and all I see is a bunch of geezers scared to throw the first punch. Ciampa then attacks Pete Dunne. Brawl ensues. But then we go backstage to Kaylee Ray facing off with Amari Miller, B-Fab facing off with Electro, Lopez, and they're fighting backstage. I don't know why we showed that, but whatever. And then we go back in the ring, and then we see Ciampa and Braun Breaker in the ring. Dunne and Ridge are thrown outside, and Ciampa says, oh no, Braun Breaker says, where are you going? How about you two bitches grow a set of balls and face us in a tag team match tonight? I'm sorry, in the year of 2021, why are we still saying you gotta grow some balls in terms of confidence?
Mark, it's edgy.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's edgy.
Be a little snivelly about it.
This is what Vince thinks is edgy. Not like blood. Much rather see like a fucking death match in NXT than this bullshit. Alright, so then we get Roderick Strong versus Kushida for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship.
Yes. Also, I just kind of want to like ask you.
Okay.
What do you call the guy with the most prestigious belt in NXT?
What?
Champion.
Right. Thanks for watching, everyone. It was nice having this stream all lasted, but that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and we'll no longer be doing NXT post shows. Thank you all. Have a great night. Oh my god. You want to get into the match, please?
I thought that was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. It was. It was.
Thank you. I thought of that in the middle of tonight's episode, and I was gonna say it to you, and then I was like, no. I gotta save this for people watching too. Anyways. So, Rowdy versus Kushida were grappling for a while. There's a shoulder tackle to Kushida and an arm drag into an arm bar. Roderick. Kushida does the little twisty arm thing with his ankles where like he gets the arm in his ankle and then he goes like, doop. Then he falls with the arm tied between his legs. Kushida counters a lift from Rowdy and falls to the mat, makes Rowdy fall on his arm. A drop kick to Roderick, and then a right hand to Kushida and a chop. Kushida gets put up top, but Roddy's like kind of saving that arm a little bit. Kushida comes down though, hyperextends the arm of Roderick. There's a backbreaker and a big slam to Kushida. Strong starts doing his like drive-by things that I think are very goofy. But Kushida kicks Roddy's arm. Roderick still chops Kushida with a good arm. We get an arm drag to Roderick. Kushida wants the hoverboard lock, cannot get it. Bivin manages to get Roderick's foot up on the rope to break the hold.
Weird that you're calling him Roderick and not Roddy. Is that his Diamond Mine name, Roderick?
I don't know. My brain can't like decide on one. I'm kind of just going in between. Very loud. Cat just like swallowed and I could hear it from here.
Nice.
It's a gem. Kushida gets pulled out of the ring by the Creed brothers and Ivy
Nile.
Nile. My head was just going with Ivy Vine, and I was like, that's not it.
That'd be a cool name, though.
Yeah, it was like
Ivy
poison
Vine.
Ivy Vine.
Even if it was like one word, Ivy Vine. That'd be nice.
But she punches Kushida. Kushida gets loaded back into the ring. There's a pump knee and a pop-up backbreaker for Roddy Strong to win.
Yeah. A match that should have been much longer. Should have had a clean finish to give more respect to Kushida and just these two guys who could put on an amazing match. The fact that this is the match we got is so disrespectful. Also, CM Punk made a really funny tweet. He was asked how many, or Dave Meltzer had tweeted that they added new seats and the potential for Arthur Ashe Stadium for Grand Slam is now more than 20,000. And then CM Punk quote tweeted that and said 93,173, which is the number that they said for WrestleMania 3 was in attendance.
Oh. A lot of people.
Yeah. Alright, so right after the match, Grayson Waller then comes out and he says After what happened to Drake last week, I'm realizing NXT 2.0 is a jungle, but if anyone was built to survive in the jungle, it's Grayson Waller. So instead of sitting in the back, I'm here to take an opportunity. Grayson Waller versus Roderick Strong Cruiserweight Championship next week. Malcolm Bivens says, "How dare you interrupt the champ celebration?" He goes to talk to Rowdy. And then Waller says, "Gotta check with Daddy first, right?" And then Malcolm Bivens snaps and says, "Gonna check with Daddy first, right?"
It was for no reason, Malcolm.
He says, "Next week, Diamond Mine shows you why we run NXT." I wish they hadn't changed Grayson Waller's character like this. Because he was really good as a heel. When he was on 205 Live and just, like, humiliating his opponents, it was so much fun. He was such a douchebag. And it was a douchebag that wasn't for a corny reason. He was just a fucking douchebag that had a huge ego.
He still is that.
Not really. I think his match with Drake Maverick was his face turn. Because he's not a heel anymore.
I don't know.
He was like the relatable douchebag that you would know from like high school. Like a douchebag that like you wore like gym shorts all the time. Just like it's just an asshole to everyone. But like I don't know. I feel like his character then was so much better than it is now.
What school you went to, but I've never experienced that in my life.
Really, you've never experienced that? Okay. Then we get another Tony D'Angelo promo. I'm not gonna try to do an Italian accent.
Please do. I want to send it to all.
No. Miriam said he went from being douchebag to annoying little brother. Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it.
I like him a lot. I think he's a little sweetie pie.
But you never watched his matches on 205 Live.
I watched one, but yeah. Points.
So Tony says, "My family would come to the docks for business arrangements." Really just nailing in those stereotypes, aren't you? There are two things we take seriously: business and heritage. And now I add one more thing: my success in the WWE.
You know that like Italians are always like very offended by this kind of stuff, but like honestly, right now I kind of side with them on this. I'd be fucking mad.
It's because I thought we were past this. I thought we were past characters being stereotypes. I really
This feels like a D. Reynolds character. Like,
no, this feels like a Mac character.
It feels like something the D would come up with though. Like,
yeah,
would say, "How about this?" and Mac would be like,
yeah. But regardless, this feels like an episode of Always Sunny. Like, come on. Then we get Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen in a promo. They're talking about how they met at a bar. They broke out in a fight. Then they became friends after the fight. And one of them said, "Doesn't matter if it's a street fight or a bar fight. This tag division is in trouble." Yeah, it's in trouble because of shitty teams. And Wade Barrett said, "I've been in a lot of bar fights. I've never made a friend out of it, but I guess good for you."
This is a stereotype that I can kind of like see, which is like, you know, like the guys in high school that peaked in high school, never left your town.
Yeah.
They're always at that local bar.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you've never been to that local bar, you know they're there.
Yeah.
I know those guys. I've seen those guys. That's who those guys are.
They should be a trio and throw Grayson Waller in there.
You feel well, no, because they're down home Americana, baby.
You can put on an American accent.
I just like also fucking hate Josh Briggs, and I feel bad for the dude who's with him. But also the dude who's with him was kind of like giving us Dean Ambrose with his outfit today. It was very confusing.
I mean, regardless of Josh Briggs' past, he was the last like Evolve champion, and so that does come with a big reputation. And in terms of the indies, like he's a name people know, and it elevates Brooks Jensen.
Yeah,
It gets him more notoriety.
there's a lot of names that people know. It doesn't mean that you want to be tied to that name.
We'll see in 3 to 6 months down the road where Brooks Jensen is. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, I think it's really funny that they were showing during this promo they were showing clips of like Brooks and Briggs doing the match from last week, very much playing it up like they won the match. I was like, y'all lost. I don't know about that.
Also, did you see T-Bar's tweet today?
No.
He said, 1 year ago today, the world was introduced to the greatest performer in the history of WWE, Slapjack. We haven't seen him since WrestleMania, so it is assumed that he went back to his home planet. Legends only. And they posted a picture of Slapjack too, and it's just so funny. Oh god. Alright. So where was I? After that promo, we had Kaylee Ray versus Amari Miller, and I said, when this match started, I said, if Kaylee Ray lost, I would stop watching NXT. Luckily, she didn't, so I have to suffer some more.
Yeah. Can we talk about Amari's walkout? Because I did not know there were actually bubbles out there. I didn't know what the fuck she was doing. I was so confused.
It's like they say they want to be more edgy, but yet they have Amari Miller come out and swat at fucking Bubbles.
Who else swats at bubbles? Cat.
Oh, is that her gimmick? Is that Amari Miller's gimmick, is being a cat?
Pepita, specifically.
Ah.
It's not a good look for Miller, and it's not a good look if you're trying to edgier.
Yeah.
It feels like they're doing that thing where they're like trying to appeal to literally everyone, and that's not how TV works at all. I'm not in the business, and I can tell you that.
Yeah. Anyway.
I was excited to see Amari wrestle just because I haven't seen her do anything yet.
Well, you didn't see her wrestle.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't see goddamn much of anything.
You saw Kaylee Ray's finish.
Let's just say this. NXT is like really diverse now. They've had more women's matches than Raw had.
First Singaporean? First wrestler from Singapore?
6 way to go.
Miriam said they're setting her up for that brutal heel turn.
It's like Bailey's I'm a hugger, okay?
It really is. Okay. A vibe.
But yeah, I mean that's one thing you can say is that it's got a lot of women, it's got a lot of diverse women, it's got a lot of men and diverse men, and also
Josh Briggs.
Technically, just trying to have fun. But it's got a lot of I feel like we had at least the same amount of matches that we got for women on Raw. Oh.
But the men got more time.
But yeah, Mark, it's wrestling. Women don't wrestle.
Oh, you're right. They're just named Lash Legend and swat at Bubbles. And show off their boobs.
to be fair, Andy was not in charge of that camera.
I mean, also, if you got it, flaunt it. Forget there's a song that has lyrics like that I can't remember off the top of my head. Forget who it's by.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, no, I mean, why couldn't we just kept it on Real Howard? Like, what was wrong with that? I don't know. Anyways, not the point. Kaylee Ray versus Amari Miller. There's some elbows to Kaylee Ray and a fist. We get a neckbreaker to Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray then slows Amari down with a hard forearm and a big dropkick. Just starts stomping on her a little bit. Amari goes for the spinning back heel, but gets caught by Kaylee Ray and then gets thrown down in the gory bomb.
Is that still the name of it? No, isn't it called the KLR bomb or something? No,
It might be called that. I don't know.
I know Gory Bomb was a great name, but now it's not that.
I thought they were two different things.
No, I think they changed the name of the Gory Bomb.
I like that we were watching. I was watching NXT for about a year, or NXT UK for about a year. Still don't fuck.
God, just now seeing the stark difference between NXT UK and NXT 2.0, they're not the same anymore. NXT UK is practically another promotion.
NXT UK is brutal.
Mm-hmm. Like that Pretty Deadly Gallus match, that was incredible. That was amazing. Some of the best wrestling I've seen in a long time. All right, so then
Who won that match?
Pretty Deadly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they retained.
What's up with their pants, man?
It's not their normal pants.
None of their pants are ever normal pants.
So then we had an interview from Braun Breaker. He says, "Tonight is huge. I'm in a tag team match with the 3 biggest guys in the world." Ciampa then walks in. He says, "Ready to swim in the deep end?" Braun says, "Who better to do it than with?" Pauses and stares at the title. The champ. Braun Breaker is killing it. If there's anything to come out of this revamp, it is that Braun Breaker is a star. So then we get a little video package that says Dante Chen, the first wrestler from Singapore in NXT, is up next. Then we go to the parking lot where Daniel Vidot is accompanied by 2 women who were nameless, I think.
I would love to have been one of the nameless women. I'm gonna be honest with you. Wish it were me.
He holds the door open for them, and then another another wrestler. I've seen him before. I don't remember his name, but I think he was an Indian talent who was on 205 Live a little bit. I think he tried to qualify for the breakout tournament. But he tried to walk in. Vidot, what's his new name? What's Daniel Vidot's new name? Zion Quinn. Stopped him.
Bonker's name, by the way.
Yeah.
Fucking toss some letters together to make that.
But Quinn smashes the dude's head into the door, knocks him out. God, it's gonna be so tough not to call him Daniel Vidot. Zion Quinn, he is also a star in the making. I feel like he's definitely got a great look.
Yeah, he's... Also, I kind of want a fucking Duke versus Zion. Also, Duke Hudson, by the way, wearing the ugliest shirt I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, the history of shirts today.
I also love that he sided with the vets. Like, he sided with the veterans. It's like, dude, you just came to NXT. You're throwing yourself with, like...
He's been for a while.
True. He has been in WWE for much longer than everyone else. But Duke Hudson himself has not.
That was
all right.
Brendan Vink, and I don't know that man.
Yeah. So then we get Trey Baxter versus Dante Chen. And Dante Chen was giving off big Mansoor vibes.
Yeah, the jacket especially.
Jacket, the attitude, the walkout, all of it was just big Mansoor vibes. But this was a
I haven't
squash
scrolled
match.
yet. There was a neck breaker and a suplex to Chen. Trey goes up top, dives down. It's the inside cradle, but Chen lifts Trey Baxter up, slams him onto his tailbone, a la Angel Garza, to win.
Yeah. Pretty much the same finish as Angel Garza, but without the wing aspect of it, which is what makes Angel Garza's finish a lot more interesting. So I'm not super impressed by Dante Chen's finish, but I mean, otherwise, seems pretty cool. Then we go to Chase University.
God.
How did you describe it? It was a community college for
That was not me, actually. That was Miriam.
Oh, okay.
But I believe Miriam said that it was community college thatch can.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's accredited thatch can.
But this segment was a lot of fun. So Andre Chase is teaching in front of a class, and he says, "Our first lesson is about Odyssey Jones. He failed to get ahead by losing in the breakout tournament finals. He tried to embarrass me, but he embarrassed himself with his weak cover. A lateral press with all the weight on the shoulders." And then some guy named Steve raises his hand and says, "Didn't Odyssey beat you in the first round?" And Chase says, "Who did you ever beat, Steve?" And kicks him out of the class, hurls a chair across the room. Andre Chase, I mean, I wasn't sold on him in the beginning, but now I'm interested. He's funny.
It's like a goofy looking dude.
Yeah. So then we get, oh god, we get Joe Gacy in the ring. And first of all, somebody named Joe Gacy should not be having this gimmick. Somebody named Joe Gacy should be dressing up as a fucking clown and murdering people.
Well, to be fair, maybe not the best idea, because John Wayne Gacy did murder children.
Then maybe don't name him Joe Gacy. Don't name him after
right.
the murderer.
You got a point.
Like, either change his name or change his gimmick, because his old gimmick used to be very similar to like slasher vibes. I think it was Morgan's Mist who retweeted a tweet talking about that. But like, come on, how do you take, like, out of everyone on that roster, why is he the one that you give this gimmick to? Come on. Give, like, Josh Briggs this gimmick. Make me hate him more. Don't make me hate Joe Gacy, aka knockoff Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan with a good voice. So, Joe Gacy's sitting in the ring, and he says, "Tonight, this ring is a safe space." That immediately says it's not a safe space. NXT 2.0 is full of conflict from the smallest microaggression to the most heinous.
He said microaggression like it was a goddamn like a whistle in my ear. I was like, oh no. When it comes out of somebody from WWE's mouth, I'm like, this is gonna be bad.
Yep. They kicked Bronson out of NXT and said, "Hey, we can be as fucking edgelord shit as we want." Bronson Reed, for those who don't know, is very progressive.
Yes. He's a good man.
So then he says, "This is a place where we settle our differences. I come from a place of conflict resolution." You see, if it was just like the conflict resolution, maintaining peace, like kind of a therapist vibe, fine, go for it. Which they might do once Triple H gets the reins back. They might go more that route. I trust Triple H kind of taking the safer route. Oh God, he says, I don't need to. I don't need to use my male privilege to get what I want.
What was he saying though?
It's buzzwords. It's just buzzwords.
It's like it feels like you're making fun of it, but also doesn't, which is very confusing for me.
This is what Vince thinks liberals are like. So he then says, I understand, just like you, that life isn't fair. I believe we can achieve unity and balance for us all. I can be the man that can show we can achieve peace in this safe space that starts tonight. And you know what? You know what? Maybe they're doing things right. Because when Joe Gacy got his chest caved in by Cameron Grimes, I was so happy. Maybe they're doing it right.
We're booking in the year 2040, baby.
No, they're booking the year fucking 2010. So then Cameron Grimes comes out and we get Joe Gacy versus Cameron Grimes. I don't know what Cameron Grimes' vibe is right now. I really don't. Is he heel? Is he face? Who the fuck knows right now? All I know is I want Cameron Grimes to be at the top.
Not me. So Grimes swings on Gacy with absolutely no luck. There's a boot to the face of Gacy. Gacy then sort of choke slams Grimes. It's a little stumbled up. He takes a nice deep meditative breath in the middle of the ring, and I said, "Oh, you're a fucking weird one, huh?" Okay. Gets a chin lock on Grimes right after that. Grimes manages a couple of punches onto Gacy. Gacy hits like a handspring into a clothesline to Grimes, which wasn't very fluid at all. It was very... That's a better word for it. Gacy wants a powerbomb. Grimes avoids it. There's a pump kick to Grimes, but Grimes manages a nasty fucking cave-in to win.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the biggest reason that this whole gimmick doesn't make sense or is stupid. Not entirely because it's making a caricature of a political party, but rather at some point you need to ask yourself, when you're making a gimmick, when you're making a character, why is this person wrestling? Why is this person in professional wrestling? Why are they in NXT? You can't answer that question with Joe Gacy right now. You can't. I mean, he gave some motivation. He wants to resolve some conflicts. But if that's his character, why would he be wrestling? If he was a manager, that's more understandable. I don't know, man. I don't know. This whole thing, it feels like such like just a hollow statement, you know?
Yeah. It's like a statement just to be a statement, like
Yeah.
talking for no reason.
Yeah, and again, I'm hoping Triple H comes in and tries to give some more reason to it, or puts Joe Gacy on a better path that he can still keep the conflict resolution gimmick, but not be such a political statement. Like, I don't know about you, but I regardless of political party, like I wouldn't want to see like a Trump caricature or a Trumpist caricature in the ring. Like, it's stupid. There's no reason for it.
It's not like it's going to change anybody's mind. It's not going to people it's going to appeal to are not the people that you wanted to appeal to 9 times out of 10, I feel like.
Yeah. All right. So then We have a promo from Von Wagner. He's in his yard or something with a sledgehammer and a tire.
Pass out?
I guess so. He says, you can bitch and moan or you can put in the work. My journey to NXT 2.0 has just begun. And then we get Electro Lopez versus Anna Scheer. And for those who watch AEW Dark, you would recognize Anna Scheer because she was, she's been on a few episodes. And it seems she has a still similar gimmick.
And if you watched AEW Dark back when they were at Daly's Place, you definitely would recognize her because she was literally always there, and she was very effusive. Also, I may have made the cat like high.
Give her a catnip.
Her catnip toy has been in here, so I let her rub her face against it for like a solid 5 minutes, holding it up, and now she's acting like a little funky. Sort of slow, if you will.
That's the opposite of what catnip does.
Like, kind of just like not there. I don't know. Stoned.
So do you want to get into the match? The 1 minute.
There's a clubbing blow to the back of Anna, and Electra shoves her twice, which I didn't really like. I don't like when, especially because you don't really see it in men's matches. I don't like in girls' matches when like there's shoving because it feels very catfighty. Maybe I'm just like extra sensitive to that because I'm like respect them. Anyways, Anna gets flung backwards by her hair. There's a spine buster to her, and then like a spinning kind of like 6 sort of slam to her. Lopez then drives. Hang on, I'm coming. Drives Scheer into the mat again, hits her with a powerbomb to a win.
Yep. Just a very simple squash match. And then after the match, Santos gets on the mic. It's so nice to see Santos now. Now that everything's changing, at least Santos and Wild and Mendoza are still the same.
Absolutely.
I can't say the same about like Ciampa and Pete.
Pete and Ciampa are still kind of like a warm glass of milk, where it's like, thank you, God.
But they're now mixing in with the newbies, and they're like getting into these newer storylines. Whereas Legado still feuding with Hit Row. There's still some consistency there. But Santos says class, elegance, sophistication, fuego, and raw power to demand silence and respect, all under the umbrella of one word, familia. Electra Lopez, you complete Legado del Fantasma. And then Electra gets on the mic and she says, what I did here tonight was just a taste of what the first lady of Legado del Fantasma, Electra Lopez, La Madrina, is going to unleash on B-Fab and NXT 2.0. B-Fab, you can keep talking, but we all know that's all it is. If you don't like it, you can get your skinny ass out here. Hit Row then comes out, minus B-Fab. B-Fab attacks Electra from behind. They brawl. They're separated by their respective parties. And then we fade out.
Electro was not separated by Legado. It was Swerve who pulled B-Fab out of the ring, and Legado the whole time just stood there like, I don't fucking know what to do about this.
And then
fucking Wade. Yeah.
Wade Barrett screamed, "Oh, let them fight."
Wade Barrett was on like a different fucking level today, and I did not care for it at all.
He was like, oh my god, he was like saying let them fight, like he wanted blood, and then he was so horny like when Mandy Rose came out. Like, what the fuck, Wade?
Also, did you hear what he said during the honeymoon announcement?
No.
I might not get the quote exactly right.
Oh, wasn't it saying something like, Johnny and Candace, you won't want to watch this or something?
That was one thing, but he said, it's a good thing that Dexter learned some oral skills before going on this honeymoon.
Wade had no fucking chill today.
Dude, Wade was like, he was like NXT 2.0, Wade Barrett 2.0. Hell yeah.
God.
No, Wade.
All right. So then we get Trey Baxter in the locker room, and this promo was weird. He's down after his match against Dante Chen. Cora Jade walks in. He's like, and she says she's trying to cheer him up after his loss. Gives him a kiss. Suggests something about being a superhero. And when she leaves, he whispers, "Yeah, superhero." And I swear to God, if we get another fucking superhero gimmick in WWE, I am going to be pissed. I'm going to drop this fucking show.
Also, I was informed that Cora Jade and Trey Baxter are in a relationship, which makes it slightly less weird, but also still kind of weird.
Yeah, the spontaneity made it weird.
I get it. I guess, like, who else was going to give that promo to Trey?
Yeah. Kyle O'Reilly. Duke Hudson.
Lucas.
Big old speech.
Is it still involved?
Odyssey Jones. He would. Odyssey Jones. He's a hugger. He's a hugger for sure. All right. So then we get Robert Stone brand. They run at this point. It's Frankie Monet brand.
Yeah.
They run into Raquel. Raquel says it looks like we both got what we wanted. Our NXT women's title match is next week. And then Lash Legend walks in after Raquel leaves and says, "That's not as big as my debut of my talk show, lashing out with the Lash Legend." Okay. There's a lot going on here. And I see next week will be the same thing that we got this week, which is a lot of debuts, a lot of first times, a lot of chaos. This should have been the announcement of this show should have been its own segment. First of all, second of all, you are, because NXT writers wrote this script. And so they had Lash Legend, is a dumb name, by the way, put down the title match. Probably the biggest title match that's happening that episode. And saying her talk show is more important. Which they've done that before. All of WWE's done that before. But you don't think that maybe for a second, you shouldn't write a line that is meant to degrade your own title. And it's not degrading in like a horrible sense. It's just, why would you write that? Why? I don't know. I thought this whole segment was just so dumb. Yeah. Whatever. And then we get Odyssey Jones in a handicap match against two random people that I tried to remember the names of, but couldn't for the life of me. They didn't. Beth Phoenix, Wade, and Vic didn't remember their names at all. They just said these guys, these men.
So I decided to lovingly refer to them as Trunks and Pants. Also forgot Odyssey's name for a second. Not sure why that happened.
Oh.
Figured it out on my second note. So Odyssey starts off by slamming both men into the ground. He splashes Trunks in the corner, then splashes Pants in the corner. Andre Chase then comes out. Of Chris Sabaning himself a little bit.
Glad he didn't interrupt the match.
Yeah. He comes out. He does exactly what we would expect from Chris Sabin, which is challenge a man who's definitely bigger and could hurt you, but like with your whole fucking chest. So there's no going back now, buddy. Yeah. So Trunks and Pants start pummeling Jones because he's kind of distracted by this. But he just pushes them away. Hits them with a running crossbody, gets pants into a little shoulder breaker. Trunks gets a sleeper on Jones, only to get flung into pants. And then there's a frog splash onto both men, and obviously stacks them. And
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why we needed a squash match for Odyssey Jones. We've already seen what he's capable of. The fact
so
that
there's no point in time where I look at Odyssey and I'm like, he couldn't take on 2 men at once.
Yeah. I mean, his loss to Carmelo Hayes didn't bring him down a peg at all. I feel like he stayed just as strong. This match was definitely unnecessary. They should have just had a promo between him and Chase that set up a match next week or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's not like I'm a professional booker or anything. Yes, I am, actually. I book for the Universal Pokemon Federation. You and I together. So then we get Grayson Waller and Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo and Trick walk up to Grayson. And Carmelo says, this contract says, if you win your title opportunity, you could lose it that same night. And then Mandy, Gigi, and JC walk in. No reason. Like, why did that happen? This whole show was just, they crammed too much into it. Like, this is the opposite of a main roster episode. A main roster episode will have, like, the main event thing be, like, the central thing, and then kind of pepper in some more stuff. Especially what SmackDown is. Like, oh my god. Anyway. So then we get a promo from Ikemen Jiro. And God bless this man. He's showing off his clothing collection. He says, when you think of Japanese superstars, you think of strong style. When you think of Ikemen Jiro, you think of style strong. Great line. That was a great line. He says, Ikemen means handsome man. He said some other stuff, but I couldn't keep up with it, as they were just shooting in lines after another. But that's the gist of it. So then we get Toxic Attraction in the ring, which is Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane. So Mandy says, when I came to NXT 2.0, I came here to be your gift, your golden goddess. I realized that this division was in need for a woman like me. A woman you people would never be with, okay? But love to look at.
I'm incredibly hot, Mandy.
And then it took a little turn. Where were you guys when my face was battered and beaten? Did you expect the fans to run in and save you? Like, what the fuck? You ridiculed me. I became an instant gif. No, you didn't. I didn't see a single gif of you getting beaten. At all.
This very much felt like the Drew McIntyre Goldberg promo where Goldberg was like, you think you're better than everyone. And Drew was like...
He's like, Goldberg, that didn't really happen.
Goldberg, you imagine this.
Goldberg, you're Alzheimer's.
Goldberg, it was just a dream.
You treated me like the way you treated Gigi and JC. No one treated Gigi and JC poorly. At all. Not that I can remember. I mean, we all live in our small bubbles, I get it, but like, I didn't see any of that. And we're in the pessimistic bubble. We're in the bubble that criticizes WWE and NXT.
I'm about to criticize them.
We didn't see anybody ridiculing Mandy, Gigi, or JC.
You know why?
Why?
Nobody was talking about them.
Oh, were they just talking to Joe Gacy? Did he call them snowflakes or something?
It was Joe Gacy and Josh Briggs.
Oh. Meanwhile, Brooks Jensen was he's just a friend that was friends with him before he became shitty.
Playing Dean Ambrose dress up.
He was drinking some beer in the background. Let's see, where was I? The difference is these two don't give a damn about what you people think. They showed Me that behind this beauty, a beast is ready to be unleashed. This is what the future of the women's division looks like. I'm ready to take over your precious women's division with these two baddies right next to me. Gigi says, the pain of my past has fueled my aggression. Only we got a glimpse of your past, you know, gave a little backstory, took a little segment to, you know, show what your past is like.
The other thing is, I know jack shit about both Gigi and Jason.
Yeah, this is why you need to take some time and develop your wrestlers. Like, I've been seeing a lot of comments on Twitter that are like, oh, love this character development, love this, taking this time for character growth. But, like, you don't see any of this character development at all. You don't see their backstory. Show us a little bit of Gigi or JC. Instead of showing us fucking Tony D'Angelo at the fucking docks. I'm sorry, but this is just so funny. This is like, how do you think of this stuff? How? Like, it's impressive that you can write this. Gigi continues by saying, if we brought that out of Mandy, nothing would stand in our way. Mandy's experience brought us purpose. JC then says, toxic attraction were not some pretty faces in the crowd. If you thought we were going to sit in the back and wait, you're wrong. What we want is the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. We have an ass-kicking waiting for you. You do not want to keep us waiting. I mean, the person who had the best lines in this whole promo was JC. Her lines made sense.
Didn't know this, but Gigi's voice is very hard to handle.
For now, we haven't heard her talk very much. I'm sure we'll get used to it.
Well, okay, so more so what I mean is today it felt weird. I don't know if maybe she's sick or something, because I know that we've heard her do promos before. She's been fine, or she hasn't stood out to me, but today I was just like,
yeah.
Maybe she was just trying to talk harder.
Also,
that sounds weird, but like...
Miriam said NXT TakeOver SNL Writers Room Edition.
Literally what I said was like, this felt like a talent show.
Yeah.
Or like, we were just being subjected to everybody, and I was like,
And that's what...
Like, at the end of the, like, I thought I was gonna like be given a ballot at the end just to like tell you who was my favorite.
Yeah. And that's what they should turn 205 Live into. Turn that into the talent show. Have NXT be your main product. Which I get, it's not like the main product, it's still developmental, but you need, if you're bringing in people that don't wrestle very much and their background isn't wrestling, you need to develop them not on TV, because we don't want to see them struggle. That doesn't make for an entertaining product at the end of the day. So then we get an interview with Zoe Stark and Io Shirai, who had just watched this promo. Io says they are on for the title. Zoe says, shouldn't there be a conversation between us about this? They kind of bicker back and forth. Persia Pirotta then walks in. I don't know what she said. I literally wrote, Persia Pirotta walks in, says something, leaves.
I have no clue what she said either. There's no context clues because she's not in a tag team.
I mean, is she going to tag team with Indy Hartwell?
You fucking better not. I guess maybe because Candace is pregnant.
There you go. You got to give Indy something to do. Also, where's Ember Moon? We didn't see Ember Moon at all.
Through character change, I'm sure. Gimmick change.
Yeah. Even though she was at the wedding and didn't display any difference in character at all. Also, kind of messed up that we didn't get a single solo promo of LA Knight. Messed up.
Yeah. I was real sad about that.
I was. So then we have our main event: Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland versus Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker. Still a dumbass name.
Yeah, not great. However, incredible in the ring. Start with Tomasso versus Pete. There's a backslide to Pete. Pete rolls through. Tomasso wants the fairy tale ending within like the first 5 seconds of the match and can't get it. No wonder. Pete tries to end Seguri Tomasso. Tomasso fails to stomp on Pete's face. We get Braun in, we get Ridge in. There's a lockup and a howl from Braun because he's just thrilled as fuck about this lockup. Ridge hits Braun with an uppercut. Then a shoulder tackle. Braun gets a side headlock on Ridge and a shoulder tackle to Ridge. Braun's then just fucking slamming Ridge into the mat. Pete interferes, jumps into Braun's arms, gets slammed into the mat. Tomasso gets in. The bulldog to Ridge and a spinebuster to Tomasso from Ridge. Pete gets in off that. His beard was like super red, by the way, today. I don't know if it's because he's got more beard than we normally see him with.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt very red. And I was like, this is part of the 2.0. Is this it?
Yeah, this is his rebranding.
So Pete starts stomping on the arm of Tomasso, then takes to breaking the fingers of Tomasso, then takes to breaking the other fingers of Tomasso, and then stomps Tomasso on the side. Hits him with an elbow. Ridge gets in. Tomasso takes Ridge off the apron, sends Pete into him, rather pushes Ridge down, doesn't really take him off the apron. Takes Pete's legs out. Ridge gets sent into the stairs. Dunne gets sent into the announce desk. Ridge, however, manages to get back up, drops Ciampa backwards off the desk. Back in the ring, we get Ridge versus Tomasso, which quickly turns into Braun versus Pete. There's a shoulder tackle to Pete and a flying shoulder tackle to Ridge from Braun, because Ridge has not left the ring yet. There's a belly-to-belly Pete, and then another to Ridge, and then a near game over to Pete, which was actually the Steiner recliner.
Yeah. Like, I was like, if you lean back right now, you are taking Miro's finish. But it was still cool to see the Steiner recliner.
Dunne, however, manages to jam the fingers of Braun into the mat. He then kind of like for real stomps on the elbows of Braun. Ridge hits him with the Alabama Slam. As he interferes, Tomasso then breaks the cover and starts hitting Pete. We get an elbow to Tomasso and one to Pete and another to Pete. Ridge suplexes Ciampa. Braun does the same to Pete. Becomes Braun versus Ridge. It's sort of like they start clubbing each other, but both selling it at the same time. There's a double clothesline. And there's a dropkick to Tomasso from Pete after Ridge goes to use the bully stick. Ridge retrieves the bully stick, and O'Reilly comes out of nowhere and attacks Ridge. So I'm not sure how injured he is, but he didn't seem injured at all. Oh. I better fucking see him soon. Gotta say. There's a Willow's Bell to Pete from Tomasso and a massive slam to Ridge from Braun. Ridge eats the pin, Braun and Tomasso win. Also, now that Tomasso has a new tag team, and either we never see Tim again, or when we see Tim again, he's finally alone, and thank God for that.
Yeah, I don't know. There are a number of names that we're not seeing on TV anymore, but we haven't been notified of any releases at all. It's very weird right now with some talent. Also, Miriam said, "Okay, but where was Regal?"
Yeah, that's another question that I've got. I thought about that today, and I was like, because I kind of made a joke, like, man, Regal was like freaking the fuck out when there was like a couple like incidents or like fights like once or twice a week. And today there was a massive fucking brawl in the ring, and then a massive brawl outside of the ring. You're telling me Regal had nothing to say about this?
Yep, I guess so. All right, so that is our recap of the episode. Now we get into the review portion, even though we've already reviewed a lot of it, but our best of the night. If you have a question for our question segment, leave it in the chat now, and we'll get to it after the